to the final episode of 2022. I know, guys, it's a boo, but it has been a great 45th 2022 episode and a great 17th Season 4 episode, and it was a pleasure to give you the news during this year.
To celebrate the last episode of 2022, here are some moments of this year.
Welcome to Tom and Ben News United Kingdom. We are live for the first time on our new independent YouTube channel, and this is the first episode of 2022. Here is our top stories this evening.
The Prime Minister is fighting to stay in number 10, and the next few days could be proven decisive.
Residents in Tonga are fighting for their lives after a tsunami has hit the nation following a volcano eruption.
And Novak Djokovic is detained in Australia again. But first, there's breaking news tonight that the US actor and comedian Bob Saget, best known for starring in the sitcom Full House, has died suddenly, aged 65, his family has announced. An outbreak of Ebola in Uganda is proving more difficult to deal with than more recent epidemics, but the president has rejected calls for a lockdown. So far, 31 cases have been confirmed, though it is feared that there could be many more.
The Zaire strain was responsible for the largest ever outbreak of the Ebola virus in West Africa from December 2013 to 2016. More than 11,000 people died.
With more than 28,000 cases in Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone, scientists carried out intensive research into Ebola vaccines.
And in Scottish news, the Scottish government has been embarrassed after blundering the translation of a birdside message in Scottish Gaelic. A graphic shows a burnt supper with the words Happy Birdsnight in English.
Below it is the same message in Scottish Gaelic, but with Bird's name appearing as Doshbar, which is Scottish Gaelic for bird.
But even in a Gaelic message, the bird's name would still be burnt. So why? Welcome to Tom and Ben News United Kingdom, and in breaking news, former Chancellor Rishi Sunak has won the Conservative Party leadership contest and will become the next Prime Minister. Chancellor Jeremy Hunt is being urged to extend the 5p cut in fuel duty amid the nightmare of high cost for motorists.
And in breaking news, US President Joe Biden's Democrats have inched closer to keeping control of the Senate, with a projected win in Arizona following the midterm elections. Good evening, Noswitha Uyhubar. Boris Johnson has announced his resignation as Prime Minister after less than 3 years in number 10, saying no one in politics is remotely indispensable.
The rate of inflation has risen to a fresh 40-year high of 9.1% in May, according to the latest official figures. The ABID will officially come into operation on April 1st next year.
Whether or not that will be an April Fool's prank, I'm yet to know. The boss of the biggest rail workers union has called on Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to meet him in an attempt to resolve the long-running strike action. But first, in breaking news, the Duchess of Cornwall has made her first public appearance since Her Majesty the Queen announced that she would like Camilla to have the title of Queen Consort in the future.
British military chiefs are drawing up plans to send armoured vehicles to Ukraine, the Times has learned.
The UK is adding to its offer of lethal weapons in the belief that the next 3 weeks will be critical in determining the outcome of the war.
The armoured vehicles would be stripped of sensitive equipment, and British troops would be sent to a country neighbouring Ukraine to carry out training, a defence source has said.
Further support, including anti-tank and anti-aircraft missiles, would be announced within days, the source is also added.
3 days after Americans voted, CBS estimates that Democrat Mark Kelly has beaten Republican challenger Blake Masters. That would leave the Senate at 49 Democratic seats and 49 Republican seats.
When then Chancellor Rishi Sunak announced earlier this year that the 5p fuel duty cut represented the biggest cut ever, it was set to remain in place until March next year.
The AA is now pushing for the reduction to be extended beyond March because of the continued high pump prices and cost of living crisis. Its research shows that surging electricity prices are a factor in deterring or delaying more than 70% of drivers from going electric.
Okay, on to our next story, and the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has died at the age of 67 after being shot twice from behind while giving a speech at a campaign rally in the western city of Nara.
Okay, it seems that we have breaking news coming in that hundreds of British Airways workers at Heathrow Airport have voted to go on strike over pay. Unite and GMB union members, who are mostly check-in staff, backed industrial action earlier today. Well, here we are, we've got breaking news and it doesn't look good. England are out of the World Cup after losing to the reigning world champions, France, in the World Cup quarter-finals in Qatar.
The showdown was the toughest challenge for coach Gareth Southgate in this contest so far, with the score ending at 2-1 to France after a goal in the 16th minute by Aurélien Tchouameni.
This was then followed by a successful penalty from Harry Kane after Tchouameni fouled Bukayo Saka inside the box.
However, the Blue made it 2-1 after a goal from Olivier Giroud in the 77th minute of playing time. Skipper Kane then missed a vital penalty that could have equalised the score for England.
8 new cities have been named for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, with at least one in every UK nation and on the Falkland Islands and the Isle of Man.
Milton Keynes in England, Dunfermline in Scotland, Bangor in Northern Ireland and Wrexham in Wales all get the title.
It is a first for places in an overseas territory and a crown dependency to win city status, such as Stanley in the Falkland Islands and Douglas in the Isle of Man. Colchester and Doncaster complete the list, getting the royal honour. And finally, England cricket captain Ben Stokes missed Tuesday's training session before the third test against the New Zealand Black Caps because he felt unwell.
The all-rounder, aged 31, travelled to Leeds from his home in the northeast while the squad trained in Headingley. England hold an unassailable 2-0 lead in the series, with the final test starting as of today.
Stokes, who had returned a negative COVID-19 test, is yet to name an official vice-captain. He took over from Joe Root in April and has seen England win his first 2 tests as full-time skipper.
Lawrence Showers from Great Falls in Montana was driving a forklift truck on a bridge when he veered off the edge and fell 50 feet before being crushed by the truck, resulting in losing his right arm and below.
Noswaitha, Oikiva, good evening and welcome to Tom and Ben News United Kingdom. A top doctor has warned that monkeypox could have a massive impact on access to sexual health services.
The disease, which was first found in monkeys, can be transmitted from person to person through close physical contact, including sexual intercourse, and is caused by the monkeypox virus.
The number of cases confirmed in the UK has hit 20, with 9 other countries outside of Central and West Africa also reporting outbreaks.
Wil Dewi Hapa Swichi i Gambal Arating the William. Jochval Huibal.
Body was found on a patch of rough ground between houses, which leads to a dirt track and over lovely weather. And this evening will be rather cloudy with a few spells of rain edging into the far northwest. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with a few light showers, trending colder with an easterly wind.
Agus Hashid Ula er sa livet fikk på skrive agus hi hu duilain. Da han lev alle quiverne.
And I shall repeat all of that in English. That's all today. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Please subscribe, follow us on our Facebook page listed down below, and see you on Monday. And if you are watching us from Scotland, then we wish you a happy, safe and peaceful St Andrew's Day. Bye bye. Ed Sheeran has won his High Court copyright trial against two songwriters who claimed he ripped off part of one of their songs for his huge 2017 hit, Shape of You.
Sheeran and two of his co-writers, Snow Patrol's Johnny McDade and producer Steve McCutcheon, known as Steve Mac, have been accused of plagiarising part of a track called OY by Sammy Chokri, a grime artist who performs as Sammy Switch.
As giving his ruling on Wednesday following a trial in March, Mr. Justice Zakaroli said Sheeran either deliberately or subconsciously copied a hook from the song when writing the OI phrase of Shape of You.
Welcome to Tom and Ben News United Kingdom, and in breaking news that we are receiving, Liz Truss has resigned as Prime Minister after 45 days in office marked by turmoil, triggering a second Tory leadership election in 4 months.
Liz Truss said her successor would be elected by next week after a rebellion by Tory MPs forced her to quit. Boris Johnson, surprisingly, is among MPs said to be considering bids, but Chancellor Jeremy Hunt has ruled himself out. Noswaith Yauni Waitha Gyd, Waithiva Abishwibula, good evening to you all, and welcome to Tom and Ben News United Kingdom's Queen Elizabeth II State Funeral Special.
The monarch will be laid to rest with her late husband, Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, at the King George VI Memorial Chapel during a private service and burial this evening.
It followed her state funeral at Westminster Abbey, which began earlier today at 11 a.m. United Kingdom time. The Queen had been laying in state at the nearby Westminster Hall since Wednesday, with thousands of members of the public queuing for hours to pay their respects.
It was then announced that the King, the Princess Royal, the Duke of York and the Earl of Wessex mounted a 15-minute vigil around the Queen's coffin at around 7:30pm United Kingdom time on Friday. Railway workers have voted to go on national strike, threatening major summer travel disruption across the UK. Members of the RMT union have voted in favour of strike action across Network Rail and 13 train operating companies.
The BBC has announced that it plans to stop airing CBBC and BBC4 as traditional broadcast channels.
Director General Tim Davie announced the content of these networks will continue to be produced and made available for online platforms. This means they will only be available on BBC iPlayer, with Radio 4 Extra moving to BBC Sounds.
The changes announced on Thursday would mean cuts of £200 million a year and the reorganisation of services which prioritise digital platforms. But CBBC and BBC4 will stay on linear TV and Radio 4 Extra will stay on the radio airways for at least 3 years.
Tens of thousands of people are gathering in Belfast today to celebrate the centenary of Northern Ireland. The event had been due to take place last year but was postponed due to COVID-19 restrictions.
Lambeg drumming, food stalls and speeches were all planned as thousands of people take to the streets of the city to mark 100 years since partition as part of a parade organised by the Orange Order.
Thousands more spectators are gathering to watch the parade, with a few attendees arriving as early as 9am along the route into the city centre.
Orangemen and women from England and Scotland have also attended.
Weather in London, showers and top temperature is 6 degrees and a low of 4. Tomorrow it will be partly cloudy, top temperature of 9 degrees and a low of 1.
That is it for our first ever news bulletin on YouTube. We would like to thank you for watching, and we would also like to thank everyone who has been involved with us over the past 7 years for making something like this possible.
In the meanwhile, please subscribe, follow us on our Facebook page, and we shall see you in 2 weeks.
Ah yes, good times. Now, Now, as we promised you yesterday, we are going to do our UK News Channel of the Year, Song of the Year, and Tom and Ben News United Kingdom headline of the year.
So let's start off with our UK News Channel of the year, and we've picked two this year for the same reason. BBC News and Sky News because of the recent upgrades to the studio layout and graphics.
Our two songs of the year are Shot in the Dark by AC/DC and, strangely enough, the national anthem of the United Kingdom because of the passing of our late Queen and the fact that King Charles III is now our new king.
Yeah, that's right. We tend to have a little tradition where our national anthem changes depending on the gender of the monarch.
Anyways, our Tom and Ben News United Kingdom headline of the year is the Supreme Court ruling that the Scottish Parliament in Edinburgh cannot hold a second Scottish independence referendum without the approval of Westminster.
That must be a right knock in the head for Scottish nationalists and the Scottish nationalist-led government up there.
Yep, plus it's provided a lifeline for our great United Kingdom. We're better together, as our name suggests.
And that is it for our final 2022 episode. We would like to thank you for watching and subscribing to us over the last 45 episodes. We would also like to thank our editors and producers for their hard work.
We would also like to thank all of you for sending in your news, whether it is in the comments section below or on our Facebook page. Well, without you, our viewers' news section wouldn't even exist in the first place.
In the meanwhile, please subscribe for episodes coming in 2023. We will announce the return date on our Facebook page on the 6th of January, followed by a YouTube trailer which will be uploaded on the 8th of January.
On behalf of all of us here at Tom and Ben News United Kingdom, whether you're viewing us from England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, mainland Europe or anywhere in the world, we wish you and your families a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Nadolig llawen a blithin newydd dda, noleg chrichiel agus bliag na fa ur.